So let's go back into Maya and let's start with our blocking for our attack animation. And for that I'm gonna leave, at least for now during the blocking, the reference in here with the option from always on top from keyframe MP, so we can, you know, see especially for the change of silhouette and the line of action and stuff for the poses. I think it's gonna be good, especially during this first initial pass. You know, I like to have it like here or, you know, on the secondary monitor and stuff, so I can like keep an eye on it. And once we do like a proper pass, we push the poses and start, then like I just go full into Maya. But yeah, let's keep it here in the moment, and I'm gonna start using the same base as we use for the run and for the walk cycle. Few things we're gonna change obviously is like the pinning for the weapon, and in this case I've been checking the reference, and at least on my side I feel it's gonna be easier if the left hand is gonna drive in the motion. Some people might prefer the right hand, some people prefer potentially constrain both arms in IK to the weapon and animate the weapon. At the end of the day is where it's more convenient to you. So let's switch into that, and what I'm gonna do for the right arm is gonna be switching to IK, and I'll constrain it here to the hand or the weapon. You know, you can add locators or whatever works easier for you, but that way it's gonna be easy, so I don't have to worry animating, at least during the initial pass, both arms. Later on during the polishing, probably like bake and start like fine-tuning all those, but in the meantime it should be fine. Here, something like this as well. I'm gonna move the weapon so I leave enough room for the other hand, for the grip. And what I'm gonna do as well is, I feel the size is not bad, but I feel we can go a bit crazy with that. So something like this, 1.2, yeah, to make it like feel even like heavier, you know, later on when we do the attack. And then we can pretty much hide the controllers, so we don't click for now. For the right hand, I'm gonna do the same, and it's gonna be, I just really created a pose in here. It's gonna be a grip pose, and it's pretty much the same, but you know, slightly open, like this. You know, it feels nice, like holding strong the weapon. And what we can do is, because we're gonna have both hands attached to the weapon, we can pretty much mirror this into the other hand, like this. And that's another thing that we don't have to worry about for now. So once we have this, we can start crafting the pose. We could, where is it? There you go. Let's start with the hips, obviously. So in this case, I'm gonna drop quite a bit the hips, like that. It's gonna be a good exercise as well of how we have our reference, which as you can see has quite high like center of gravity, and how we're gonna push that pose to make like quite more exaggerated. So that one like that, and we're gonna rotate quite a bit into the side here, maybe something like this. The X on quite high as well, like that, as you can see, because we don't only want, you know, if we come to the side, this type of C in here, but if we come into the front, we want this type of C as well. I think that's gonna be really cool. So that's why it's like I raise a bit the hips in this direction, so we can create a nice contrast on both from all the angles in here. So yeah, hip something like that. The feet, we can, let's go for example to the side first. This one quite open. Oops. Let's, in this case, I like to leave the link wall. Some people like to keep it local like that, you know, and then tweak it, you know, because it moves with this. Actually, you know what? Let's leave it in local for this time. Where is the other one? We lost it. Let's bring it here. There you go. And local in here. Perfect. And let's bring it forward like this. Okay, and then let's not forget to key everything. That's important. So let's go back into our main pose in here. Bring this foot quite far, and we're gonna bring the knee forward. This one, maybe something like this. You know, here it's gonna be like keep going back and forth, you know, until we find like that sweet spot that we like, the overall balance of the character. You know, the character is gonna be, actually let's keep it 0 in here. Just bring the hips a bit back. Just more into here, going here, and let's go forward. This up is gonna be quite open, but something like this. nice. We want to find, you know, the character to be balanced. So if we didn't have this massive weapon, we'd only look into, you know, a good rule of thumb is like if we align the 2 feet with the hips, you know, and like keep it balanced. So if we didn't have the weapon, maybe bring it a bit more like this. But in this case, the weapon is gonna be really, really heavy. You know, it's gonna come into this side. I want like to push the character a bit into his right, you know, so it cannot balance with the weight of the weapon. So these small things, you know, to keep in mind, but that's gonna help us like to craft the really, really nice pose. So we can bend this tiny bit in here, and again, so we go, oops, forward, you know, start slowly. I don't have like a rule of thumb of, you know, what to pose first. I usually like, you know, start tweaking things all at the same time. For example, the head, something like this, gonna give like a nice look. Maybe you can like set this a bit more, you know, to increase. Every situation is always nice to increase this nice line of action in here. Another thing you can do, especially later on during the polishing, is that you can use translation, you know, to exaggerate the squash and the stretch of the character. I think that's gonna look really good. Let's bring this actually way more. Maybe something like this. And now we have this almost like first pass in here. What we can do is start setting up the constraint for the right hand. So for that, we pretty much want to do is like align nicely into the weapon. Something like this. Let's bring this shoulder down a bit. So yeah, pretty much similar pose to the hand. We want a nice grip in here that feels solid. So like this. And then what we can do is that once we have this, maybe a bit more like that, is we can create a constraint. So in this case, I'm going to constrain into the wrist. So we set the left wrist, select that, and in parent, we bring the window. Where is it? Here. Monitor. We maintain the constraint because we already have the hand placed where we want, and we add this. So now, you know, if we move this, the hand is going to follow, which is very handy for us. And then we have the pole vector in here. That thing, I'm going to keep it local as well. Something like this. We can also like use in this case the neck control. You know, we go front and we can like bring the head a bit down. You know, more compressed. You can see here. It's gonna help instead of like leaving here. You know, we compress a bit, so we start like playing a bit with the overall feeling of the silhouette. Something like this. Kind of like already. Also, I don't remember if I mentioned before, but when we are like animating the forearm, it's really good to keep in mind. A lot of rigs have it like locked, but we only can move like in real life the forearm like in one axis, which is this one. So keep in mind that, especially when animating something more realistic. So I like to keep my forearm rotation just in that axis, and then I bring the other ones like this one stuff with the arm. And then if I want to push some of the other two axes like X and C, it's just usually like some smears or some small in-betweens to break a bit the silhouette and stuff like that. But I think it's a good habit to just use this one because it's gonna make our life way easier for sure. Let's see for another angles. I think this foot is actually, it should be nicer, something like this. Yeah, something like that. It's quite cool. Let's check from the front again. Maybe I'm gonna open up a tiny bit more. Yeah, as you can see here, you know, we have that kind of like nice weight because the sword is hanging on the with the arms, and I think that kind of pose is quite cool. As you can see, the idea is pretty much the same as we have in here, you know, but the only thing is like one looks much cooler, which is obviously the 3D model in Maya. But yeah, we picked this idea, and it's like how we can push it, you know, how we can exaggerate the, you know, this type of like C, you know, more hunch pose on both sides. You know, let's lower the center of gravity. Let's open the foot, you know, more spread apart. That way it's gonna, you know, feel more aggressive. And the nice sword in here, instead of keeping like flat as we have on the main reference, let's do something like this. I think it's gonna look quite cool. We can play with this shoulder as well to exaggerate this, and then we have the nice pole vector in here. But yeah, I think something like that looks cool. Quite happy for now. So yeah, let's key everything in here, and then we can move into the anticipation pose, you know, which is the big one with the arc, which is, if we come in here, it's gonna be this one. So as you can see here, we have that really nice contrast on shape. So let's go. Let's do, I don't know. Here is almost 50 frames. Obviously, it's gonna be like way faster. So we could do like. Actually, I'm gonna start like placing here maybe half of that potentially. Can in here to the right, and the things here it's gonna be mainly working on the side because it's gonna have some, but not too much side to side motion. Obviously, add some, you know, because it's gonna give more texture and more like depth into the animation. But yeah, at the moment we're gonna bring this like quite up. With a nice jump in here. And then we want it like quite forward in here as well. Boom. You know, kind of like a vertical, slowly going forward jump. And then we got the foot. Want this really nice. Here, boom, like taking off. Here you go. We can tweak this in a bit. Again, like I like to go like back and forth, you know, between keys. So here, this is gonna start turning, you know, forward, and the X actually I'm gonna drop it quite a bit, something maybe like this. And then from here, boom, we want the other way around, as you can see. So just gonna bring this a bit lower. Struck where the tip of the foot is, you know, so we have a nice takeoff point in here, and then the right foot pretty much the same. Instead of like this, you know, as you can see here, we're gonna like exaggerate this quite a bit. You know? Same with the front. Yeah, that's gonna give us like a really nice silhouette. We can also use this opportunity, you know, to drag quite a bit the toes. That's always good. And then the chest, we're gonna like bring it really back. And in here, for example, could be a good opportunity to like exaggerate this tiny bit. Boom. We raise the head a bit, and now the key thing is like the weapon is gonna drag all this back in here. You know, so if we check this one, maybe let's go quite crazy actually with this. Something like this. You see, and just like still need to refine properly the pose, but you can see it's really nice change of shape on the pose. So what I'm gonna do though is in here, boom, like bring it all this a bit more forward, boom, something like this. You know, we want to like travel a tiny bit like this. We have a really nice drag here on the sword. The chest is gonna be, we don't want like perfectly like facing forward because it's gonna come from this side, so we want to favor it slightly from here, you know, so that's gonna be important. And then obviously let's check on the front, because you can see here it's like, oh, this is starting to look good. I like the pose, it's nice. And then you switch into the front, it's like, yeah, this looks really bad. So it's a good opportunity, you know, to play a bit with the pole vectors, you know, the foot like this. Maybe if it comes from this direction, you know, we're gonna have like a nice drag in here. The foot is gonna look good, and same from here. See here, it's gonna be nice. Can bring the pole vector quite a bit in. Yeah, that's cool. Let's favoring this a tiny bit more, and the chest the same. Boom. something like this. We can as well tweak the neck a bit, you know, to bring the, where is it, the front here, to align, you know, the head, because we want the head to nicely align, to have this cool line of action, you know, from the front view as well. As you can see here, we have this really nice, almost C shape from the tip of the foot till the head, you know, so that's gonna be really good. And then let's bring this quite a bit. Here is the only thing that comes tricky is, you know, we need to keep tweaking and adapting the shoulders and the elbow here, you know, so the left arm, like, it looks good. So actually I'm gonna bring this a bit more inwards in here. Something like this. Actually, let's come here and bring the elbow here. More like that. Yeah, so that way we have a nice silhouette as well on the right arm. Okay, it's good. We don't worry too much about the armor plates again at the moment. You know, we can like hide them, or we can like unlock here the armor, you know, and start like tweaking this to like a nicer shape. Even you can feel free to translate them, you know. So we have something like this that looks better. But yeah, again, at the moment, I would not worry too much about that. I just want to have like a nice feel of the overall silhouette, a lot of action. Sure, we align this nicely. For example, here we can like support this nice line of action in here. So it comes from, you know, from this side, what is it here, and then the sword is gonna, as you can see here, rotate. Boom, I'm coming to this pose, so we can drag nicely in here. Boom, I'm favoring a bit this side. Bring this a bit forward, something like this. And yeah, this is again just like playing around with the shapes until we find like really pose we're happy with. And then once we have passed like this, which is quite happy with, let's kick everything, and then let's do the heat frame. Let's put that on, let's do 10. It's gonna be way less, but your frame would be this one, you know. One of the options we can do is like move into the heat frame, or what we can do as well is moving it straight into the follow through. In here, let's put another 10 frames for the sake of spreading evenly. And what we can do is like we come in here and we start posing this one. It's gonna be more forward. Now let's bring here, and then let's reset the fit like that. It's gonna be something like this. And this way, the only difference is like if we do the follow through first, what we can do is later, you know, if we delete this key here and we disable the step preview, as we're gonna have this interpolation, we can pick like a frame like this, you know, as you see as a starting point, and that way we had the foot already placed where we wanted to have. So it's handy again, wherever it works easier for you, but this is showing you more options. Something like this. Let's keep this like quite low in here, and let's rotate again, quite a bit like this. And in here we want to have again this really nice C shape, especially from the front in here, to differ pretty much. Oh, there you go. This one like this, and here I think pretty much I'm gonna hide the entire torso, showing the back. I think it's gonna push this pose quite a bit. It's gonna look nicer. Back to here, you know, we make sure the ball vector looks alright. This leg, something like this. Actually, let's drop this a bit more. Back into front. There you go. Something is I really like to keep in mind, you know, when animating action stuff is like the knee placement. You know, we want really nice and solid line of action. That's gonna like help, you know, with the overall silhouette. The compression, the stretching here. I think it's gonna look really cool. Boom. Then we can put in here, sprint the arm. Boom, and then it's gonna swing back. You know. I think the head as well is gonna look super cool, something like this. And then we come here into the arm, and for the arm, what I'm gonna do is like keep, if you can see here in the reference, how this left arm is actually bent, so quite a bit. So what we're gonna do is bring this quite a bit back like that. Then we're gonna straighten the sword with the wrist, something like this. We can enhance and push this pose with the shoulder, but yeah, something like this. And here we bring this pose vector like this. You see from the front again. I think this one needs to be out because it's a bit out of balance. There you go. And we can bring as well the chest a tiny bit inwards. Boom. And again, if we pick the neck control, we can, you know, like polish a bit this kind of like shape with the head, and then we can later on worry about the neck plate, you know, and polish it nicely. Bring this a bit back. Something like this. Let's check from other angles always. It's very important. You go. Maybe tiny more twisted in here. I think I'm gonna open the knee a bit more. Yeah, something like this for now. I think works quite nice. So you see, if we ski everything, so we forget, let's go back into the side. So we have the nice idle pose that actually we're gonna copy back, maybe into 90. And what we can do here is like select the center of gravity control, bring it in here. Yeah, something like this. So we have the nice idle, the anticipation, got this really nice C shape, reverse C shape, boom, and cut again, and then back to idle pose. Later on for the idle pose, especially when we start in more breakdowns, we can like move it a bit forward, a bit backwards, especially if we're gonna like, you know, a foot like moving forward, move it back, you know, if we're gonna add some extra step, it's gonna look good. And then, as we mentioned, the hit frame, you know, here. So what we can do is like, we find, for example, we can select the foot control, you know, and we can, with the Twin Machine, put it already where it's gonna be. Boom. And here, one thing I like to do with this kind of like heavy attack is this kind of like going overshoot, you know, down, boom, and then goes up. I think that always looks cool. And then I select the arm, something like this. Boom. We can open this a tiny bit. And for the arm, again, because it's a really heavy weapon, instead of going like for a straight hit like this, we want this nice drag in here in the weapon, you know. So we have this really nice, as you can see here, how the arms being, and then we're gonna, let's bring the pens in here. There you go. So this, I wanna like have this really nice drag in here, you know, with the weapon. So we have the arms in this direction and the weapon in here. I think it's gonna be really good. This away. something like this. Complete the ball vector, have it up. Same with this one. You see, we have this this compression, and then the overshoot here. When it comes to the torso, it's going to be pretty much the same. It's going to be favoring that position because we want all the body, doing this amount of effort, to drag the sword to do like a really proper big swing. And in here is the opportunity to bring the head up, because we want, especially from the front, you can see here, it's looking at the target, right? So, boom, and then here it's like, okay, it's game over. So, boom, here, it's an opportunity because that's gonna showcase that the character is more like skilled, it's very like savvy with the weapon. Boom. And we can tweak a bit where is the shoulder? Here. More like this. Compress this a bit down. Something like this. Oh, let's fix the shoulder. Let's straighten that a bit. So we have this really nice, both arms like dragging nice in here. The sword. Boom. Boom. And then we go back to, and I think something like that should be quite alright. Boom. Yeah, so something like that, we should have like anticipation, hit, boom. And we can almost like bring this a bit more in, boom. This nice contrast in here, boom. Yeah, it's quite cool. We had the different contrast, in the opposite line of actions, the C shape and reverse C shape, and quite dynamic poses. And yeah, so something like that should be like enough for the first blocking pass. If, again, as I said before, I like to do more like a blocking pass to add some action between. So I bookmark here, like for example here when we start, kind of like adding this nice circular motion, on the arc in both the torso, head, arms, and weapon. Then I think would be nice here because it kind of does like a big jump to have not only this one but also a bit of a air pose, and then here when it's about to contact, so it's kind of like the bouncing ball type of animation. We had like the twitching when it contacts, and then we had the squash after. So I think that could be nice. And then the follow through, and we can always add a bit of here, because this nice swing, boom, it's gonna give us like an extra point. So if it's like a quick attack, for example, like a punch or something like that, with just these three poses, pretty much we have everything, because we have like a really nice showcasing what we want to achieve. But in this case, it's a heavy attack. Actually, having here, having here a pass for the blocking plus. So you can see, let me see, that if we select the character, I have a few more keys only, but it's mainly this kind of like going into, actually I'm gonna bring this in here, it's gonna be easier to see. So we have this really nice dragging here of the sword, boom. And then how I start taking off, dragging the sword with this, especially if we see from the top, this really nice circular motion. If we track the head, the chest, and the tip of the sword, especially for big weapons, it's really important, if we make sure the arcs works nice. And then, what is it? Boom, we have this, which is one stretch, the high point, and then we have the other stretch. And in this case, instead of like here, that the land is kind of like, because I'm not super skilled, so kind of like lands first with the left, and that pushes the right. I'm gonna do actually using the right one, boom, to have this really nice stretch, almost like pose before we hit, boom, then we have the hit frame, and then we have the nice follow through. So yeah, if we hide the one that we just did, we show this one. So tweak a bit the timing, but you can see how adding this feel in between already give us this extra weight that we want to like showcase when it comes for especially for the weapon, you know, like the nice drag and then the nice extremes. Doing the takeoff in here, boom, a bit of an air pose, because I really like this type of pose and I think it's nice to hold it for a few frames, and then we had the nice stretch on the front leg right before the swing, and boom, and in a few frames, literally 2 on 2 frames, so in 4 frames, 3-4 frames, we had the nice swing, boom. And then here, oops, let me expand this, we have a nice, we talk, because the sword is too big, that's another thing that we need to keep in mind. We need to adapt, you know, to the prop size. So in this case, to avoid the clipping, we can create quickly like a plane in here, like this. So to avoid the clipping and to show cool, adjust, especially, you know, you see the arc of the sword has like it lifted a bit, boom, and that helps, you know, for the physicality to swinging here, boom, bringing up, and then drop it, boom, in the last pose. Boom. And the timing obviously is just a very rough pass, you know. It has like big heavy anticipation, the build up, and then we have like a really quick swing, just as we want, you know, especially when we release all that like momentum, you know, to swing the sword, and then boom, hold a bit and go back nicely, boom, and he drops the weight quite fast in here to go back into pose. Boom. You can see from different angles as well how we have this really nice like arcs, you know, the sword here on his left side, boom, and then here backs into the right side. So it's really cool how we cover both side here. Sorry. But yeah, with this I consider this a really decent state, you know, as a blocking plus, to have like a good character with a good feel of what we want. Even with the 3 poses, or this one would be a perfect opportunity, you know, to export and put into the game, you know, breaking down and see how it feels and start then address things. But yeah, after this we are ready to move into adding more in-betweens and start polishing the animation.